Hey YouTubers, this video is for my new friend in Florida. Again, I can't think, I lost a piece of paper that had his name on it, but I'll know when I check on my computer. But it starts with TH and then it's a bunch of numbers. Anyway, this is to explain how to hook up a wire to a solenoid valve on the bowl of a carburetor. That solenoid valve is an anti-dieseling shut-off, so that when you have your mower on full throttle and you turn it off, it shuts the fuel off so that it won't. Sometimes it will want it to continue to run. So if it shuts the fuel off immediately, it cuts the car off, or the lawnmower off. So that's what they're used for. And I'm going to try to explain how to hook up the if there's no wires, because he has one that the valve is on there but there's no wires going anywhere. Somebody had taken them off, or they just stuck a different engine on there and it didn't have any wiring for it. So I'm going to try to explain how that is wired in. Now, what I had first said, if you can find, if it's got a specific type of connector, the easiest way is to find a pigtail that has the proper connector on it, which would be, like, say if it's a Briggs engine, probably all the connectors for that solenoid would be the same. And by pigtail, I'm going to go over here to my wire harness I have here. This was a wire harness from a car that I'm just using it for spare wire. But if you cut off a pigtail, is if you cut off this connector with a piece of the wire, that's considered a pigtail, and that's what I was talking about. So if you have a mower that's a used mower that you're using for parts, and it already has that connection on there, if it's the same connector, you can just cut that one off and reuse it for yours. But I don't think this is the case for him. And what I saw in the video, it looked like there were spade connections on the end of that solenoid, because I actually haven't had the privilege of working on one yet, because I just started working on small engines myself, and I haven't really gotten into very much of that. Oh, you know what? I've got an old engine right here that might have it on here. Let me just see. This is an old Murray that somebody was throwing away. Let me see what it's got on its carburetor, because it might have the same thing. It might have the same setup. See if I can find the carburetor, and it does not. Okay, so that one doesn't have it. This is just a regular carb bowl with a jet. Okay, so anyway, I just thought maybe I might be lucky. So anyway, the spade, I wanted to explain what a spade connector is for somebody that might not know. This is a male spade connector. See that right there? Spade is in it, looks sort of like a shovel. That's a male spade connector. Okay, here is the female spade connector. And I will sort of try to demonstrate how you can put them together with one hand. So let me find it here. Okay. Oop. The male would slide into the female just like that. Okay. I can't do it with one hand, but it would slide in this way. Okay. So if I was correct in seeing this video, it looked like it had just the ends of the solenoid had two of these connectors sticking off the bottom of them. Two of these males. So what you want to do is make up two pigtails wires with two female spade connectors on it. And I already cut a couple of pieces of wire, and I'm going to show you how to crimp that on. I've stripped off, let me see if I can get a bit better picture of it. I've stripped off some insulation off the wire, and so now what I'm going to do is I have a crimping tool here, right here, and for insulated blue connectors, there's a dot on it. I don't see if you can see it. Yes, you can. Right there. See that blue dot? That's for sizes. It says crimp, insulated and non-insulated. So the spot that you use is not the one that's lined up with the blue dot and the it says 16 and a 10 with the yellow dot. That groove right there is where we're going to put it in. Okay. So I'm going to. Okay. Here's the wire right here. I'm going to install the female onto the wire. You push it all the way in till it stops. What stops it is the insulation pushed into here, and as you can see there's a little bit of copper showing right there. Now I'm going to take a pair of crimpers and I'm going to put I'm going to take a pair of crimpers. I'm going to put the connector. Okay, see, I want to see if you can see that. I put the connector in the slot in the crimper. Okay, there we have it. There is the, and you see it's across from the blue and the where it says 16. So that's in there right now. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this while I insert the wire. I'll try to do it on camera. There we go. I'm going to insert the wire. Okay, the wire's all the way inserted. Now I'm just going to crush it. Okay, it's crushed. Let me wipe it off. It's got a little bit of grease on it. Okay, here is the wire pigtail. Now I've got a female spade connector on it. You do the same thing with the black one. Another female. I guess I'll go ahead and do that too. Okay, that's in there now. And I'm going to take the black, into the black wire, push it all the way in. Okay, you're going to make sure the wire doesn't flare out. It's all the way in. Now I'm just going to crush it. Okay, now we have the two. Now I can use my hand to hold this. Okay, now we have the two. Here are the two connectors. Okay, now the next step is what you're dealing with on a any kind of solenoid is all it is a movable electromagnet. So there's a core with wire wrapped around it, soft powdered metal core with a wire wrapped around it, and that's allowed to slide back and forth. And when you apply a voltage to it, it becomes magnetized, and then it jumps one way or the other. Now, if you hook the polarity up one way, it'll jump one to the left. If you hook it up to the other polarity, or reverse the wires, it'll jump to the right. So on the case of this valve, since I don't have a schematic, I wouldn't know which way it would, which wire needs to be hooked up with what, unless I could see color code or something like that. It might give me an idea. If it was red, for sure that would probably be battery. If it was black, I would think that would be chassis ground. But what we want to do is we want to hook these two wires. What you do is you put these two wires on the male spade connector, slide them on, and then hook one of the wires, like say hook the red one. I'm just going to use this as an example because I use red. Fasten the other end of the red wire, and this is just to test it, to battery positive. Okay, with that hooked on, now take the end of this one and strip some insulation off of it and just touch it to chassis ground for a second. When you just touch it, you should hear the solenoid click. If it doesn't click, try pulling pulling the two wires off the solenoid and reversing them. Put the red one where the black one was and the black one where the red one was. And so now you still have the red one hooked to the battery positive on the other end. Now touch the black one again to chassis positive. If it makes a noise, it clicks, then that's the correct polarity more than likely. Okay? So what you want to do then is fasten it to the just temporarily fasten this to the chassis ground and the other one to the battery positive, put gas in it, and then see if it will run. Because if the bowl's all clean and all the jets are clean, when you have this hooked up the right way, that allows gas to go into the main jet. Okay, so one way it will run, the other way it will be turned off. So I hope this is helpful, and if you need any more information, just comment, and what I might have to do is maybe send you an email or something to get, so I can get your email, and then maybe I can send you I can draw a picture or something and you know, take a picture of it and send it in an email or something like that, so that you have a better diagram. But I think hopefully this is helpful, and this is all based on the fact that you have spade connectors on the bottom of the solenoid. I don't know that for a fact. I was just looking at it when you're waving it around in your hand, and it looked like I saw spade connectors on the bottom of it. Okay? Now the other one that's on the snapper, I have no idea. Oh, here's the other thing. If it only has one connection on it, that's easy. The body of the carburetor is the ground, and then the other wire, the only wire, is going to go to battery positive. Okay, so if it has one wire, that wire goes to battery positive. If it has two wires, you got to have one battery and one ground. Okay, now when you're ready to, if you've got the polarity correct and the thing's running, the way you want to hook it up, on the final way of hooking it up, is you have the black wire or whatever wire you picked for chassis ground. You bolt that down to the chassis, and then the red one that you've got to battery positive, what you want to do is you want to hook that into one of the wires that comes out of the ignition switch when the mower is running. That's got battery voltage on it, so that when you turn the mower off, the battery voltage goes away from that wire, and then that shuts that valve and makes it shuts off the fuel. Okay, so when you're finally ready to hook it up, just make sure that the wire, the positive wire or the battery voltage wire, goes to is spliced into one of the wires that has battery voltage on it, that is on the other side of the ignition switch when it's in the on or run position. And the way you check that is you just go in there with a little voltage 12 volt test light that you can get at any car place, and hook that up, the test light up to it, and see which one is positive. And if you need help with that, let me know, and I'll try to do a video on that also. Thanks. Hope that's